Do you have a fake ID?
No, I was talking about like house party when house parties were
Oh,
safe, when it was actually
did you
safe
have
to
a fake
go.
ID though?
No, you know how hard
Never.
it was for me to ever fucking get it fake. And my fucking
And it's when, well, I mean, I can't say that.
I do got a sweaty lip, dude. Some people got them sweat ducts or whatever right here. Marcus's brother was looking at the yearbook and he saw my picture and he went, Mamma mia. This is happening somewhere else, but we all have fucking, banana heads.
How y'all doing? Welcome to Rolling Through It. I'm Felipe, aka Flip the Crib, aka Wheels, aka whatever you want to call me. This podcast, what we're trying to transition into, is creating positive outlets, not only mentally but physically, to help everyone. I know we going through shit, especially after COVID. You know, we're still trying to figure our groove. So that's why I want to go with this platform and getting everyone out there. For me, I use music a lot through everything I went through in my life. But also I found art, I found dancing, multiple outlets, and that's what I want to provide to you guys. And I got my man Chongo here with me and my other man Dale, my other man Andres, and we're here to help provide that outlet for people. And we're also going to have guests on here with us that are going to help give their perspective of how mentally you can get yourself positive and also just enjoy life. That's the reason why I want to do this. I mean, in my perspective, I've been through a lot, but so has everyone. And my thing is, I'm just trying to give the raw perspective of what you may go through in life and how you can find better outlets for that. And then I'm going to go ahead and let my colleagues over here with me explain the reason why they were interested in doing this with me. Go ahead and take it away, Chongo.
Well, as you said, I'm Gabe Chongo, one of the DJs here in Sacramento. Mainly interested in this podcast, this project, because I want to bring a little bit of awareness to everyone. As far as the music game for me goes, I definitely use that as an outlet, and I just kind of want to explain and express how I do that, and what music has done for me throughout my life, and how it's created positivity, and how it can bring awareness for mental health.
We got Dale over here.
Oh, just jumping in. All right, yeah. Yeah, all right.
Hey, we passing there. We going row by row.
I mean, yeah, man. In general, we're talking mental health, overall wellness. I think music, especially, and conversation has been a big defining or defining like variables in like changing or like bettering mental health or like overall wellness, right? I mean, communicating about it is where it really starts. Communicating with oneself first, and then with those around you is where it like really starts. And want to support everything that you do, man. And really, I think it. All of us, I think I can speak for all of us, like really respect and like look up to. We've talked about it before. Look up to like your perspective on life and like just how like you handle things. I mean, before I even like we really even knew each other, I was like, yeah, who's this motherfucker right here? Like this is like crazy. Like like um, just living life at the moment and to its fullest, and like you do that. I really respect that. I look up to it, and like so for
Appreciate
you
it.
to like bring us together and facilitate conversation regarding all the above. Yeah, man, down for the ride. So
I appreciate the perspective and the praise. I do. Like I said, I'm just trying to get everyone out there to just don't be shy. I mean, it doesn't matter what position you're in, whether it's in a wheelchair, whether it's, whatever your situation. It's always nice to be out in public and kind of just enjoy yourself. And then now we're going to go with my guy Andres over here, give his perspective on it.
Known you all my life, man. Like you said, we always here to support you more than anything else. First and foremost, I'm right behind you every step of the way. You know what I mean? But
Literally and figuratively.
but
Not like that. Hey,
no, I mean, like,
he's all right. He's pushing him.
pushing
Yeah.
the wheelchair, yeah.
Just keep it
Hold on,
rolling.
man.
Yeah.
See, hold on. No, but yeah, like I said, I'm here to support you more than anything else. But also, we're just, like I said, like they said, it's like a positive thing you're trying to do here, and it's I think something that needs to happen that like to something like open up a conversation about mental health and that bring awareness to what we're all aware of, but none of us speak on. You know what I mean? What we
Exactly.
won't tell the person to our left and right, and what we won't. You know what I mean? We're all rolling through it. You know, no one else is.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
You know, I'm too aware of, always thinking like, oh, that guy has it good, that guy's solid, that guy is like, I wish I was like that, or like, you know what I mean? But we all got our own things, we all got our own perspectives and like hardships that we formed our perspectives. So
If you guys don't see, this is our apartment. So our goal here is, and my goal is, you're in my home and you're in my mind, and that's the perspective we're trying to give here. Is I'm trying to open up as raw as possible so that we can speak about what things are happening. And each and every one of us work in the industry of Sacramento, and when, we love having a great time, but we do see people out there that a great time is a long time, and it's definitely something that has to be kind of talked about, whether it's through drugs or just going out all the time. There's certain breaks, and mentally it can be draining. I've been there multiple times, and it's an outlet that I'm trying to get out of, but also create outlets for people to find other ways to still have that euphoria or that. Yeah,
it's
exactly.
good to de-stress and unwind, but it can't be your escape. That's the thing. You gotta,
Yeah.
I mean, have you found? We could just jump right kind of some conversation.
Yeah.
Like, have you? I mean, I know. Like, I've been in the industry for many years, and I think, you we're coming around quite a bit, but like recently in the last 2 years, like working in the hospitality industry, right? And there's definitely, I think you've experienced it pretty quickly where you realize there's a like sensory overload, to a sense, right? Where you kind of become desensitized to like how much information and how much interaction that you're having during these like short bits of time, which are like your shift, which then turn into hanging out with coworkers and people that you meet while you're working, right? And those also consist of like a lot of like stimulation on like all kind of different levels, right? Music, social interaction, alcohol, dancing. There's a bunch of stuff going on at all those moments, right? So like, it's dope because you've like caught on pretty quick that like it's not really sustainable to live at that
level
all the time, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes people take breaks from it. People like find out really like fascinating ways to like manage that energy and manage like their output and how much they're like taking in. And then some people don't manage it, but I think they think they're managing it through getting more exposure to it, right?
Yeah.
Like, So I mean, in your, how long did it take you to kind of start realizing that like, oh, like this much like sensory stimulation and like, output and input at these like high levels like isn't sustainable? Like how?
I think for me, in my perspective, was I would say like a year into being like Darling and Flamingo, just because, I mean, I started going out when I was like 14, 15.
Do you have a fake ID?
No, I was talking about like when house parties were safe. When it was actually safe to go.
Did you have a fake ID though?
No. You know how hard it was for me to ever get a fake. And my brother to believe that shit. Yeah, that was.
What does it? How would they find out?
I mean,
that's a crazy. Well, is it crazy?
My dad taught me of like certain ways they could look at it, at least at bars. But nowadays, it's actually kind of hard because of the whole systems that everyone has and scanning and like. Yeah, like, and plus what they put on the IDs now. Back then, I would say when I was 10 years ago, it was. You just show up, they look at it, and they're like, all right, go ahead.
Because they're not flashing it in a little light anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Looking for layers of security.
Yeah, I had a fake ID, and my cousin had green eyes and blonde hair.
And you probably...
Like blondish hair.
Probably still got in, though. Still made it in.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
But then they asked me, like, what my sign was, which was a good question.
You were like...
Because I had the
birthday
like,
memorized,
but then
fuck.
I don't know, like, what signs...
You got to keep that chart in your pocket. You know? You're like, wait, hold on. Sagittarius.
Yeah, raised in Ohio.
He said my moon was a Gemini, but
I had a fake ID and was so messed up that one night I had it. The first night I went out, he asked me where I was from.
went over your head.
That was
Yeah,
bad. Oh,
yeah.
man.
No, but I mean, for me, it was fun. It was a good time. I mean, but I think working in the industry and like seeing it for yourself, where you're not drinking, also, it's kind of like, oh shit, like.
No, definitely.
It definitely,
Even I
as
feel-
you were touching on, was like, it's it's where you're like forgetting about it. Like it's a distraction. You're only having fun for this X amount of hours, but you're gonna wake up tomorrow and be like, fuck, I still gotta live life. And that's where I was kind of like, all right, I need to find other outlets besides going out or doing stuff. Which was, I got really into the gym. Like I go to the gym. I try to go at least 3 to 5 times a week. That to me also tires me out because
But
So-
you like train some people too, right?
yeah, I mean
We got to cut in at this point some pictures of Jimmy Lunardelli.
yeah, So they
who's the other,
Cole too.
Cole's
Cole with
pretty
me,
jacked.
yeah.
Cole's fucking chiseled.
yeah. So I mean
Jimmy's,
they had a good figure and
he's
then
kind of like a.
He's like I'm
Pretty-
older than
yeah.
What would he be? He's like a
From
strong
nah,
safety.
nah, I didn't-
I play
meets
baseball. He
like-
plays
Oh,
baseball.
shit.
I play baseball.
I was like, what is-
I mean,
yeah, you look like baseball.
Fuck,
That's
player, man.
this is where we got to show some pictures.
Yeah, man.
but not. I mean, they had a good. They were solid before I even worked with them. But to have them like come in,
They look weak as shit.
they said they came
They were
in.
nothing
They came
before.
rags. They weren't here
They were
before us.
sloppy,
This
man.
wasn't
They were
here
sloppy.
before us. But nah, they came in and like they fucked with my workouts, and I'm in there for about 2-3 hours to be honest. I do a good amount of lifting, and then I do cardio, and then I do sauna. For me, it was more of like I'm disfigured either way, but I noticed when I'm bigger, a lot of things mush together more, and also I kind of like I like being fit. Like it's nice. It's to me it's therapeutic. I put on an album or a mix or whatever, which also that comes into play with the music. Is like it. I've gone in by myself, and still like one album will get me through my entire workout, and just the sounds and the vibes of it.
I
Here's
still
the
owe you a
question.
playlist.
Oh, shit.
No, it's been a while.
If
Off
you
camera.
had
He's
to
like,
pick,
okay.
if you
Edit
had
that
to
out.
pick one album from start to finish, no shuffling songs, just that to work out to, you're stuck in it. You're not stuck in a gym for your whole life. You're stuck on an island with a gym with one album.
Oh, so there's like weights and everything, but I can't make a canoe and shit.
And no, there's an island. There's an island. This is way
He
more.
said you got
involved than it
state
is.
of the art.
You're by yourself
yourself.
on an island with one gym and one album to play with a really good stereo system.
Recently?
What do you pick? No, not
Oh, like all the
the rest of your
time.
life.
No,
Go.
I'm saying
You're
recent
gonna
album
You
that
have
came
one
out.
album
One
to
album.
work
One
out
album.
to.
Your whole life, you have to work out to this album in order for the rest of your life to work out. What album would that be?
No song skips.
This will be biased of me because I'm
This is
a,
biased as shit. This
yeah.
is you.
2014 Forest Hill Drive. J. Cole.
Oh wow. Why?
Because it literally, the way it flows is like a workout. You start off, it's got like kind of mellow beats, but it's got a little bump to it. And then once you hit that middle, it's like GOMD, like all those like,
To hype you up,
Hype
but
you
also
up, yeah.
get you in your feels
and
to
then
think
towards
about.
the end, when you're like doing either cardio or sauna, you're like, it's got like Love Yours, like some deep shit where you're like, fuck, like that was great. And then you
Yeah.
end it. And that's, to me, that's a flow of how my workouts are. I start
That's
off
a good
stretching.
album.
Yeah.
Okay.
What would be yours? Well, we might as well go around
Shoot.
the horn.
Just kind of piggyback off of like kind of like a journey, something that takes me on a journey that would put me through that. It's a live album. It's Porter Robinson and Madeon. They both did a collaboration, and it's literally sadness, hypeness. Like they'll put something on. It's an immediate like, now I'm pissed off. But it'll be like, it's a
Like
consistent
euphoria of like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
What's
this
the
crazy
album called?
climb. Shelter.
Shelter.
It they do really well at kind of putting you in, through all of those emotions, but ending on a really happy note. It's just nice. It's just nice. Yeah.
What about you, man?
Man, I was hoping you would
delayed.
go before me.
I
I
like that.
was like, keep my records real quick, man. But sheesh, no, that's tough. That's tough. I wouldn't necessarily maybe not like a workout album. It's not what I'm really thinking about.
That's all you can do on the island is work.
Sheesh. I mean, that might be what I need. Let's lock in real quick. I mean, in 6 months, bro, I'll come back different. Sheesh. Nah, that's difficult though. Even just an album in general is like hard to. I mean, I listen to like a lot of hip hop, so it's like I feel like that's tough.
Okay,
Even just to
maybe
narrow
you're
it
stuck.
down.
You're stuck in a garden by yourself for the rest of your life.
DMX, and then there was X.
Is that the one where he's covered in blood?
No, that different album. I don't know
Which
which
was
one is that. Then there was actually just a big X on it, and it's when. Well, I mean, I can't say that he does pray in it for sure. There's a whole song where he prays and then starts barking like a dog. Okay.
Okay, you didn't answer the question though.
I didn't.
No,
yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah,
kinda-
I'm getting back. I was just kind of
Man.
dancing around it.
That's tiptoeing, I guess.
No, but just thinking off my my old hip hop, I like something I could spin always back to back is that Black Star album that Mos Def and Talib Kweli. It's pretty dope. That's listen to end to end. That's like that. It's like orange and it's orange and like brown or like I got that in the closet over there. That's but yeah, that's probably my out of they're not necessarily like my goats or anything, but like that's like something I could spin back to back every time. That like no skips, no nothing. Like every song is turned that up. You know what I mean? So like,
dude, Talib Kweli was it's one of it actually was the first hip hop concert I ever went to at the Colonial Theater
Oh, wow.
in Oak Park.
Yeah.
And actually, Roy that owns 12 Wax and All City Homes. I didn't know back then. I snuck into it. I probably should pay for that ticket now that.
No, it's okay.
But
he said, "Bro, send me your Venmo." Send.
Yeah, but I mean, I was like, I think it was like early high school, and let my cousin talk me into smoking hash for the first time ever, and snuck into it, and it was like there's probably like 200 people in this theater. Like Colonial Theater is very small. Talib Kweli got up there and just it turned into a whole cipher. People were like freestyle with him. I was like mind blown.
Hip hop show.
Yeah, it was dope. Like
That's
nothing but
dope,
love
that's
her, but
dope.
it was like going crazy. Damn, that's a good one. Damn, if I had to.
Well, he has
I
a
had to pick.
podcast too, and he's the
Oh,
People's Party or whatever I think it's
yeah.
called. Yeah, like
Who does
Mos
Midnight-
Def and Dave
Midnight
Chappelle.
Riders?
Oh, it's Dave Chappelle, Mos Def,
Most Def.
and
Isn't Talib?
And Talib.
I think.
And then
he's-
Talib's People's Party.
Yeah,
Dope.
Yeah.
Shout out, they do great fucking
yeah,
podcast.
man.
That podcast is.
I think the album I'd pick is while we're All Eyes on Me, maybe Tupac.
Okay.
That's definitely the hype.
It's kind of an easy pick. It's double disc, right?
Deluxe.
Yeah.
That was a solid album, yeah.
All right. Well, enough of that hypo. What do you guys want to get into next?
Well, since you brought up the All Eyes on Me album, I recently watched the Dear Mama show, technically it's a documentary
It's like
of
docuseries,
Yeah.
a doc series on FX that was on Tupac, but not even just Tupac, it was also on his mom. To me, like, I watched it and that's kind of what I grew up on, of like the image of Tupac, of how intellectual he was, how he was brought up on a serious background of, getting the full on information of how African Americans were treated in that time. And also it showed how his mom had to fight, not in that times, but also going on to fight for her son too, but it also showed the modernization of how Tupac fought, with lyrics or bringing up police brutality, which unfortunately is still going on to this day. But it just, to me, all the other docuseries or documentaries or movies that were done on Tupac, for me, just gave that light of like, oh yeah, he was smart, but he did all this bad shit and he, got crazy and got killed. But this docuseries to me showed like he was very intellectual and had a plan for certain ways. And I know you watched it also, Dale, and I just want to see like
Yeah,
what
for
you
sure. It was like super complex character, and like, I mean, I'm not like a Tupac historian for sure. I'm not gonna sit here and claim that, but like, I've always been fascinated with Tupac. I like remember being a kid when he, like, I remember where I was when I heard the news that he was shot. Which is like, when you're a little kid, and like some of his songs are like near and dear to me. I remember my dad actually rolling with my dad in his Forerunner, and he would like, I'd get in trouble for listening to like music with cuss words and shit, like when I was being bad at school. But then at the same time, like the next day, we'd be rolling his Forerunner, and he'd be bumping like "Hit 'Em Up," and he was like talking to me about the song, like, isn't this crazy what he's saying? I was like, what, do you want me to listen to this? Do you not want me to listen to this? It was like, I was
I'm
like
so
super
confused.
But like, I guess at the end of the day, it just showed like, even like my pops at that time, like that's how good the music was. That like, even though like
it was always
he
a
was like
substance.
unsure, at that time too, it's like you have like a big push on like restricting certain content from
It's,
youth.
but
I mean,
the
that's
thing is,
right
he
when they
made it political. That he
kinda
was making
started.
a statement that people didn't want him to make. That.
Yeah, I don't know what year they started doing the parental advisor stickers on CDs and stuff. But I mean, it was
NWA,
like just
yeah.
it was like
It was
a
around
few
that,
years before that. So,
Had the Chronic with the clean version.
oh yeah,
I bought the wrong CD.
but like it was like undeniably good to where like I remember my pops was like worried because I was like fighting, doing a bunch of stuff, just dumb kid shit, and like the dumb shit. He wouldn't even let me wear a shirt that was like, remember not Big Dog, but Top Dog.
Yeah, no.
Nate Dogg?
Top Dog.
I think it's.
Where it'd be
I don't-
dogs like playing basketball,
Yeah.
and like doing a bunch of cool shit. And there was one shirt where it says like, it's not the it's not the dog. Wait, the bark and the dog. What was it?
It's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog.
Yeah, that's what it said. And I couldn't get that shirt, and I was like bummed. Because he was like, it's gonna make you fight. It's like so stupid.
Yeah.
But it was like, it was like he didn't know. He was like figuring the shit out. And would like not let me listen to certain shit, but then at the same time we'd be in the car and he'd be like, this is so good, you gotta like listen to it. Anyway, but I think that like that documentary or docuseries was cool because it did definitely, like, I remember being very interested in the history of Tupac and like his character, and he's a very complex character. Not only because what he lived, but like how he did the analysis and like interpreted what his like purpose was and stuff. It was like pretty wild what I already understood of like this complex character, Tupac, right? But like to see that story told alongside and like interactively with the story of his mom, even provides more context on like like oh wow, like I mean, I thought I kind of understood, but like it provided a whole new context of like how deep it went, especially like the history of like the Black Panthers, right? Like like hearing from some of the folks that spoke on that docuseries, like how like the federal government and local law enforcement's like COINTELPRO and stuff like mobilized against the Black Panthers, and how it really like not only like took down like the movement, but like really like stripped the soul, right? Like by constantly like taking these folks
that strive to
to
make
trial
them, yeah,
and like
exactly.
breaking up families, and like it's like so crazy, you know, like, and they talk about in that docuseries how like at this moment like a lot of the leaders were either like dead or like in prison or like becoming addicts themselves, right? Like, which like that's what happened to Tupac's mom.
No, yeah.
Can't escape
And
it.
like some people, I think it's easy to like chalk it up like, oh well, look at that, she became an addict. But like when you really, they like broke down the story, and like you're like, wow, like this lady went through so
Yeah, how
much.
would she not?
Like,
How
oh my
would
god,
she not?
And
it would it like
that brings the whole
break
mental
anybody.
perspective,
So,
the mental perspective of how they had to deal with, and also you see how they could transition into drugs and into outlets to get them out of the hell that they were in. I mean, going through all that, seeing all that, dealing with all that, especially she was pregnant in prison and had a damn near plea for her own life because no one else knew how to do it, and she won. That's not,
yeah,
you don't see that, especially in that time. You don't see that often.
Yeah,
You know, that was in much cases a close case because you had entire governments against them, and but she fought them, and that's like the mental perspective of you can go through all this, but again, anyone can find an outlet to have them escape that, and that was again their mission too, was how do we break up this one eternally, but also physically and mentally, because that's what strives anyone to do anything. You want to push forward, but if you find a distraction or something
yeah.
that's especially if you get
Good
knocked
enough.
down so many
Yeah.
times, yeah.
Also, wasn't it Tupac's birthday not too long ago? Like 2 days
Yeah,
ago, 3
that
days
Gemini
ago?
season, gang, gang.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, like you were saying, like
He
a
sent
lot
her
of
behind the camera, Gemini
Yeah,
season.
yep,
Happy
yep.
birthday,
We
man.
got 3 Geminis here.
Bam. What do you?
But no, like I was just gonna say back to what am I? Oh, I'm a Libra, unfortunately.
Oh,
No,
Libra?
just
Is that
kidding.
bad?
No, that's just like
It's
I
like
don't
a
know.
lion.
Yeah, it's like the balance.
Yeah.
It's the
right.
balance?
Yeah, it's like
Libra's
the little
balance?
scales.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
But no, yeah. Back to what you were saying about the docuseries. I only see like a few episodes, but it was a lot of interesting stuff about his mom, just how like his mom struggled. Even like she was pregnant with him, he wasn't there in prison with her, but he was. You know what I mean? She was there, and his like her struggle in that time shaped him to be, how he was, and wanted to make those statements and speak on those things that needed to be brought to justice. You know what I mean? Brought to light that. They didn't want to be brought to light, you know what I mean, kind of thing. And I think a
Yeah,
lot
and
of
how
it
he
is
put it too
censorship
was like
too.
he was like wasn't raised in prison or during like in that system, but he was cultivated. I think
Yeah.
he like used that term, which is like very interesting and like very telling of why he turned out how he turned out.
No, right,
And like for me, at least in that docuseries, it was nice to see like how his mind was molded in like that parallel of his mom and then seeing him, because not a lot of people see that. They were just thinking like, oh, like he grew up in the ghetto. He's like every other rapper. There's like
but
trying
they
to talk about the
demonized him
struggle.
because of that, though. It's like he's a gangster.
Exactly.
It's like when he died,
Yeah.
and it was like, it's because of his own actions. It's because of his lifestyle he chose or whatever. You know what I mean? But it's like that way discredits the music he made, and even if it was some of it was gangster, he was talking about killing people or fuck Mob Deep. You know what I mean? But it was like he did have a message, and he wanted to bring things to light and bring justice to the system, and
Yeah, and it was like
overshadowed
through the
by his killing and
the platform of like art. And, like there's plenty of pretty violent like country songs and rock songs, like metal. I mean, not every genre, because there's some pretty
Well, I mean, there's always hidden messages if you really look at the lyrics or the sound. But I think with hip hop and rap, it's more harsh on because it's more raw. It's more out there. And I feel like a lot of other genres, it's kind of like, kind of played into the music, I guess you could say, of where you think like, oh, this is cool. But like if you listen to rap, like you're cussing, talking about like real shit.
yeah, and
or
it's
like,
from like a group that historically is subjugated and like made to believe that people should fear, right? So it's like
exactly.
using this like method of like music and art to like tell stories of you know, the fucked up shit that's happening, in order to like make their situation better, it like becomes very threatening to the masses at one point, you know, and still is, honestly, but it's largely because of like what folks look like that are creating that artwork.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And that's what's like very unfortunate. But it's cool that like, you know, like the power that he had. I mean, we're here because of, you know, this nexus of like mental health and music, and you know, and a bunch of other topics, which, you know, I know you want to cover on here, whatever that outlet is, or whatever that like release is, whether it's like the arts, I mean, culinary arts, I don't know, whatever hobby, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
exactly.
we're gonna cover all that, but like how powerful of a therapeutic release like music was for a person like Tupac, and like for everybody that followed in his footsteps and everybody that listened to him, but also like how like threatening that could be.
I don't know exactly. I mean, especially
For other folks, you know.
and the demographic at that time was, and what they try to label it as, is gangsters and thugs and criminals. So when you get into that art form, you definitely have that kind of spotlight on you of like you're associated with that. So whatever group you go with, whether it's color or, you know, East Coast, West Coast, whatever, it's definitely of, okay, now you're labeled as that, so we see you as a threat, or it's something which again, it's created through, you know, systemic of the government of, let's have them fight within each other, because why would they want to fight with us if they're pissed off at each other? And that was a distraction, and unfortunately, the brilliant mind of, you know, Tupac, they created that narrative of when. It definitely shows in that documentary also of when he got locked up. It kind of tore him down a bit of like, I'm just trying to get out of here. Like, I want to get out, whatever is possible. And unfortunately, someone saw that as a opportunity to take advantage, and he did by getting him out. But then that's what, again, created that mindset of, cool, now we have this mindset for him that, okay, now you're definitely in that area. Like, and you see at the end too that he was trying to get out of that. You see at the end of like he was trying to do more for his organization of getting schools and music and poetry and art. Like you especially in this one, you see a lot more of how he was into the, you know, theater arts, of whether it's, you know, on the stage live or was on film, like, and then poetically, like, you know, we were speaking on earlier of how they were able to. Throughout the documentary, they show his lyrics, but it felt like he was just talking. And if you take the sound out, you're like, oh shit, that's some dope ass poetry. But then you put the sound in, and you can see how it's made to be like, you know, demeanoring or, you know, threatening. Exactly.
Yeah. Like.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for coming to Rolling Through It with me. We got Gabe, aka Chongo, Dale, Mayo with a D, and then Andres had to go to work, but Andres also. Next episode, we're going to be getting a little more deep in with Chongo, kind of giving his background of what he got into, why he did what he do, and why he's shining big and blue. So we're going to have fun. I appreciate you guys coming through, and go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and repost, do what you got to do, but we're going to be back. Thank you for coming.